Hey everyone, this is David at Finish Line Factory, and if you watch one of my previous videos, you see that I had a Miata that I picked up as my project car. Unfortunately, I had a friend that really needed a car, so I fixed it up for him and sold it to him. He actually just picked it up a few days ago. So I've already gone ahead and I've picked up my new car. It is something similar. So my old car was a 2002 Mazda Miata, and my new car is a 2002 Mazda Miata. So if you're wondering why would I just go ahead and pick up the same car, I mean, you know, why not? It's a great car. It's a very capable chassis, something that's very fun to drive, even if it's stock. And this one's in much better condition. The top isn't completely covered in duct tape. I'm not going to go for the full review like I did with the other car, but what is nice is that this car has a working radio and working power windows. As you can see, that window's down. So the top is a little messed up. I mean, of course it is. You know, it's a Miata. It's a convertible. I mean, what else do you expect? But it's not that bad. It goes up and down just fine, and it doesn't leak, which is important. So let me pop the hood, show you guys what's going on there, because that's why this Miata is special, and that's why I bought it. All right, here we go. Here's the engine bay. So we have a lovely engine here, VVT, 1.8 liter, 4-cylinder, and stock it makes 140 horsepower. If we look over here, we've got a little baby turbo. Look at that. Look at that. It's a little baby turbo. So that's this car has the MK turbo kit. So it's a $4,000 turbo kit. It comes complete. And yeah, it's got a little eBay turbo there, a little Chinese turbo. But here's the deal. I was looking through the website and they said some words that I really like, which is by cutting the right corners. And that's what's important. So here's what's key with that, right? So if you bought your typical eBay kit, it'll be like $1,500 and it'll cut like every single corner and it'll be a cheap piece of junk that's going to blow your motor. Or if not, you know, the components will break on their own. But on the MK Turbo Kit website, it says that they cut, hold on, let me move around to get the hair out of my face. It seems that they cut the right corners, and that's what matters, because there are certain corners on the turbo kit that you can compromise on quality and not affect the performance of the turbo kit. So what they did was you get hard piping instead of like some junk rubber piping that'll just break. The turbo, yeah, it's an eBay turbo, it's a Chinese turbo, but you know what? It gets the job done, and you know what? If it breaks, it's not a big deal. You can get one for $112. It also includes a full exhaust from the header all the way back, which is very important, and a Mega Squirt standalone ECU, so you're not running on some piggyback, which is more likely to blow your motor anyway. So yeah, it works. So continuing with our tour, this car has an aftermarket clutch. I think it's an ACT Stage 2 clutch. It's got Mishimoto radiator for improved cooling. Looks like the Mishimoto fans and fan shroud. It's real cool. So coming around here, it looks like it needs a little bit of maintenance done to it. If you look here, that doesn't look too good. I've already ordered some parts for taking care of that. What I really like about this kit is, you know, look at this. You see here how the oil feed line, they didn't just stick it there, but they actually wrapped it in some fire sleeve. I sell that. It's ours is black, but this is orange, and I think that's a nice touch. That's a nice touch of quality right there. It shows that they were paying attention when they were putting things together. One thing I would like to change, so there's a breather valve here, right? There's a breather here, and it looks like this is the PCV valve. Hopefully that's one way. I think so. I think that's one way valve. But I'm going to take those both out, put them on catch cans. Preferably that on a catch can. That way I can keep the motor nice and under vacuum, away from any potential harm. And yeah, so far so good. So there's not much else to show you guys under the hood, other than the fact that there's a nice turbo right there. So let me go ahead and drop this. What's also nice is that the hood closes normally, unlike the other car, which I had to slightly sit on it because it was, well, the radiator support was bent. The exterior of this car is in better condition than the previous car, except on this side, the driver's side, which of course is the side that I'm going to see the most often. The paint is, well, it's not that great, but I'm going to get the whole car repainted. It's got a couple of dents I'm going to pull out. Maybe I'll, you know, if I can find them, maybe I'll even get a set of brand new headlights, because those are already looking a little foggy, you know. Definitely going to change the wheels. We got I'll have some cool wheels on the way soon. So I've already ordered like a bunch of parts for this car, and I'm going to be installing those in my garage. Once they come in, I'll make videos for those as well. So Interior-wise, exterior-wise, I think I've kind of gone over that pretty well with the previous car, so I'm just going to hop in and drive it. Alrighty then, let's get started. So, one thing that I like about this setup is that there we go, merge with traffic safely. So one thing that I like about this setup is that it seems to maintain that power band, that mid-range power band that the Miata is really known for, but it carries that power band. So instead of leveling off and dropping off like it does at 5,500 RPM on a stock Miata, it'll just keep going. It's more linear, and that's what I really like. It makes the car a lot more fun because, you know, yeah, you get that mid-range punch, you can have fun without having to wrench it all the way out, but by keeping the power going, you know, it just keeps climbing. I think it's more fun like that. It feels more. It's almost Honda-like, you know. I would keep the power just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, despite, you know, having 1,000 revs. And this is still recording. Okay, good. So yeah, let's take it for a little spin. This will be a little bit shorter because capabilities-wise, performance-wise, handling-wise, this is pretty much the same. The suspension in this car is completely stock, just like the other car. It's just got a lot more power, and it seems to handle that power very well, which I like. So yeah, let's take it on the highway. So this car does have, the tune seems to have a few random issues, like sometimes it'll start randomly idling at 2,000 or 3,000 RPM. I asked some other people, and this seems to be a common issue with the Miata and Mega Squirt. So I gotta figure out what's going on there. I've also noticed that the car overboosts. The car has the turbo has a 7 PSI wastegate spring on it, and I've noticed around the upper RPMs it'll start exceeding 7 PSI. So that tells me that the manifold design and the wastegate hole is quite a bit too small for that boost pressure. So I'm just going to raise the boost pressure, set it to like 13 PSI. I'm going to use the wire in my electronic boost controller. So I carried that over from the 240, so that should be good. We should be good to go there. So, but let me tell you, this is a lot faster and a lot more fun than the stock Miata. And if you watch that pull just back there, it does have a pretty cool feature called flat foot shifting, where I can keep my foot on the throttle, and instead of the blow-off valve going off, it'll keep the whole system open. It'll keep the turbo pressurizing everything, and that reduces the boost that drops off, so that way I can do things like this. You're gonna hear a small pop. Oh, not that time. And wow, it's so much faster. It's just so much smoother, especially once the turbo spools up. I really like how this sounds. And the MK turbo kit's really quiet. It's got this very large Magnaflow muffler in the rear, and well, the turbo quiets things down a bit, but having the muffler there in addition to that makes things even quieter. It's just, wow. I wouldn't be surprised if this is almost stock. Well, almost, if this is quieter than stock, you know, because, wow. So, I can't wait. I'm getting this thing ready to put it on track. I've already ordered, what have I ordered? One thing I don't like about the Miata is the steering wheel. It's fairly large, and it's okay for, you know, if I were a smaller person, but I'm a big person, so it doesn't work for me. So I've ordered a Sparco steering wheel with a flat bottom and a Sparco shift knob, just to have like a complete matching Sparco setup, I guess. I've also ordered a couple other things. I ordered a roll bar, because of course if you're going to take it to the track, you're going to need a roll bar, so I'll make a video installing that. The little things here or there. I ordered some speed bleeders. I'm going to bleed the brakes. What else? Little things here or there. So anyway, I just wanted to, you know what, actually I was going to end the video here, but let's do one more thing. Let's take this on the highway. So this car has one more problem that I want to address, and that's the fact that the turbo, when it starts over boosting, the boost cut on the ECU is set to 10 psi, and what happens there is that 10 psi, if it exceeds 10 psi, it just cuts everything, and I mean everything. So it'll cut all ignition, and the car will it'll be like hitting a rev limiter, right? It does this to protect the engine, but I know that the engine can handle more than 10 psi. Perhaps it's just not tuned for it. So I'm gonna get that figured out. All right, here we go. Getting on the highway. With a 7,000 RPM red line, it's hitting boost cut at 6,000. So, as you can imagine, not that fun. So, I'm gonna bust out the computer, get that figured out, get that all fixed up, and I'll come back with another video with me doing some mods.